Back, continuing what looks to be an all-trial case. So I'm very curious what happens here. Let's see, what we were just talking about. Dual night sky is so beautiful even when viewed through bars. That's right. Your cell will be your spaceship. Picture the view through the iron bars. It's like being an astronaut in your own craft for all time. Ha ha ha, that's not a half-bad thought.
Sometimes he gives me a good vibe.
By he, there's three he's.
Starbucks.
Ah. I'm Mr. Starbuck, Prosecutor Blackwell got to his good. This... Oh my god, old bag! Spaceship prison cell, fly me, my guilt, and my despair into the deepest, darkest space. And then let's get sucked into a black hole together.
Objection!
Mr. Starbuck, you can't give up hope. Oh? Yes, Apollo? You know, Clay really looked up to you. He said you are an incredible man. He said you'd never give up your dreams and passion for space, no matter the situation. He said that? So don't give up now, and help me prove your innocence. For the sake of the man who respected you and believed in you, Clay Terran. For Clay? You're wasting your breath. Wrong. Ah!
His head gonna fly him out through the glass window.
Oh my god, that would be amazing. Oh, hey! Apollo, thank you. I can see things clearly now. Mr. Starbuck, I'm fine now. Thanks for reminding me of my life's mission. Right, we'll both be fine. I'll prove you're innocent, you'll see. And after that, we'll get you back into space. Rah! You've ignited the booster rockets of my soul! I'm on fire! I am Solomon Starbuck, astronaut, a cosmic hero chosen by the universe itself. This is no time to be whimpering and crying. I can't let you and Clay down. Boulder Dash. The sun, the moon, all of space is calling me. Solomon Soul Starbuck. Ready for launch. Begin the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1... Lift off! The judge, man. Maybe his head is gonna fly off. Well, I feel like I've witnessed an actual rocket launch. Apollo, you did it! You broke Prosecutor Blackwell's grip over Mr. Starbuck. I can't take the credit, it was all Mr. Starbuck. He pulled himself through. If you simpletons are done massaging one another's egos, no matter how positive your mood, my advantage remains unshakable. I have but to wait for the final guilty verdict. Isn't that right, your baldness? Yeah, can't let up now. I have to stop Blackwell. I have to see this through. Mr. Starbuck just has to make it back into space. I won't allow Clay's dream to remain unfulfilled. I've got to destroy Blackwell's arguments. Think, Justice, think. The only people at Launchpad 1 were Clay and Mr. Starbuck. And Clay was already dead by the time this footage was taken. And the only person who could have killed him is Mr. Starbuck. So the only way to counter Blackwell's argument is, I can prove that Clay was still alive when they arrived at the boarding lounge. In which case I should be able to find some contradiction in the evidence, which... Yes! Now let's see about this data that we just received. This supposedly proves that Mr. Starbuck dropped Clay's body in Launchpad 1. If I'm going to prove that false, then there must be something I can use here. Enough of this farce, your baldness. Let's have your verdict. Prosecutor Blackwell, you seem to be in quite a hurry to rush the verdict. But about this oxygen tank data you submitted just now, it says that Mr. Starbuck's tank had 80% remaining while Mr. Terran's had 0. Do you stand by the accuracy of this report? Of course. Then I guess it simply means that it's faulty, as evidence goes. You will explain what you mean, Justice Dono. It's simple. This evidence contradicts the facts of this case. Take a look here at the detailed description and you'll see what I mean. I hope you have some evidence, Mr. Justice, because I don't see what's so contradictory. Yes, Your Honor, right away. This is the evidence that the oxygen tank report stands in contradiction to. It's gotta be... that.
Take that!
And how does this evidence present a contradiction? The problem is this part here.
Take that!
Note the remaining oxygen in Mr. Starbuck's tank as he carries Mr. Terran. It appears to say 50. Yes, but according to the data, our client's tank had 80% remaining. The oxygen in the tank increased. I see Your Honor finds it as strange as I do. It's bad enough there's a contradiction, but the increase in oxygen is beyond illogical. Oh my, you're absolutely right. What is going on here? I too find it odd that the oxygen remaining has increased. It would be as odd as if my rations were to increase. But what does that prove? It doesn't change the fact that it is the defendant carrying the victim's corpse. I'm going to bet you don't get more rations because you don't abide by the rules. Either way, the oxygen remaining shouldn't increase, just as your rations don't increase. Therefore, this new information is critical. We can't overlook it. In that case, do you have an answer to the riddle of this mysteriously increasing oxygen? You'd better not disappoint, or I'll declare the inconsistency as mere equipment malfunction. Prosecutor Blackwell has a point. I suppose it could be a simple malfunction. Mr. Justice, if you cannot provide an adequate counter-argument to this point, I'm afraid I must bring this trial to an end. So do you think you can explain why the remaining oxygen level increased? Of course I can. The thing to do at a time like this is turn my thinking around. Mr. Starbuck has no memory of it, but he claims to have carried clay. So this man with a 50 on his tank ought to be Mr. Starbuck. But, if anything, the display of this oxygen tank should have shown an 80. This is a clear contradiction between the report and the security footage. So what I should be asking is not why did the oxygen level increase, but what had to have happened to make it look like it increased. Am I making some kind of mistake in my base assumptions here? I wonder if that's even Clay, or... like, either the roles are reversed, or that's the third person who we've...
It could be a third person and the roles reversed because he has the anxiety about going up, so maybe he experienced him.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Justice, we're waiting. Yes, Your Honor, I'm ready to answer. This is why the remaining oxygen appears to have increased.
The victim is carrying the victim.
Yes. What if it was the other way around? The other way around? Would you care to explain, Mr. Justice? As you can see, Your Honor, both men had their helmets on in this footage. But it turns out this is where our base assumptions went astray. We assumed that it was Mr. Starbuck helping Mr. Terran, but it was the other way around. It wasn't Mr. Starbuck helping Mr. Terran at all. It was Mr. Terran who was helping Mr. Starbuck to the boarding lounge. It was what? Order, Mr. Justice. You mean to tell me that the person on the right in this image is the victim, Clay Terran? It's the only way the riddle of the increasing oxygen level can be solved, Your Honor. At this point in time, the remaining oxygen in the victim's tank was at 50%. But when the victim was found in the boarding lounge, his tank was at 0%. That's right, there's nothing contradictory about the oxygen level decreasing. This means Mr. Terran was alive as they made their escape to the lounge.
Silence!
How short your memory is. Have you forgotten what you yourself proposed? Even if the victim was alive at this point in time, how did he descend the ladder with his arms full? Prosecutor Blackwell, you can't hurt me with a broken blade. Excuse me?
I pretend somebody would go.
It's true that we don't know how they got down the ladder. I suppose that matter needs further investigating, but we have proof that Mr. Terran was alive when he reached the boarding lounge. This fact alone shatters your claims, and opens up the possibility that the victim could have been killed by a third party. There were two people who claimed to be the first on the scene, but can we truly trust their statements? Let's see, the two people were Detective Candace Army and Eurocosmos, right? You think that one of them might have given a false statement to the police? Yes, it's certainly possible. We have to... Cosmos? I think it was the CEO?
Have we met him or seen him?
I don't think so. Let me see if... Yeah, we don't have him yet.
Okay, I'm not crazy. Look, I don't know who that is.
It seems we'll have to hear the testimony of these first two people on the scene. Score! Come to think of it, the Detective Army should be here in court right now. Bailiff, could you please show Detective Army to the stand? Oh. I have an announcement, everyone. What's the meaning of this? We're in the middle of a trial here. Please remain calm and listen carefully. Someone has reactivated the bomb. The bomb was defused, but it's about to explode. Explode? Bomb now? Ah, everybody run. Eee, I don't want to die. Oh no, everybody's panicking.
Silence!
Headless chicken for the death wish, the lot of you. Calm yourselves before all else. Come on, Apollo, let's get out of here. What about Mr. Starbuck's dream? And who will carry out Clay's final wish? I don't care what happens to me, I'm not letting some bomb blow the truth up forever. I refuse to let things end here. Apollo, this is no time to be dramatic. If we don't get out of here now, we're gonna die. Come on, this way. Hey, ouch, let me go. Apollo, Juniper? She hasn't evacuated yet. Juniper, are you alright? Apollo, no, not that way.
I wish we had just made it here, but I was so tired earlier.
Yeah.
Now we assume Candace's army is dead, right?
Yeah. So it looks like this guy was trying to silence this woman. In the middle of the Space Center bombing trial, we had another bombing incident. This one destroyed courtroom number 4. Furthermore, Apollo suffered major injuries from being there when the bomb went off. Unfortunately, Juniper Woods was fingered as the courtroom bomber.
Which doesn't make sense, like, at all, anyway, but...
Yeah. Athena and I knew she had to be innocent, so we took her case on. We managed to clear Miss Wood's name. But Apollo sustained further injuries when he was attacked by Tendinate. That guy was a troll.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, so it's not an all-courtroom case, but that was, like, the intro. So maybe we're going to actually continue that investigation. And find out what Apollo left. Apollo was a tough guy, but this is taking its toll on him. Yeah, poor guy, being attacked by Tennate like that on top of all his other injuries. Apollo is resting at the nearby Hickfield Clinic. I've had some experience with that place myself. What an awful turn of events. I never thought he'd land in a hospital of all places. You must miss him too, huh? Now that you don't have anybody to tease? Don't worry, he's young. He'll heal quickly and be back before you know it. It's been a while since I last saw Trucy look so down. We won the court case, yet nobody feels much like celebrating. Oh, so we're actually before the case with the Joker dude, it looks like. Because he left after that case. Alright, enough of this, people. This is no time to be moping around. Now dry those eyes, both of you. Oh, you're the only one who's crying, Athena. Technicalities. Look, we have work to do. We have to take over. Take over what exactly? Apollo's Space Center case, of course. As no verdict's been reached, there's still a chance. I agree with Athena. We should pick up Mr. Starbuck's defense. We have to avenge our fallen comrade. Right, Daddy? Apollo hasn't exactly fallen. He's still alive, you know. Good, now that's settled. Let's get going. Come on, we gotta run. Wait, right now? We better not be running the whole way. There she goes. I better catch up. Care to take care of the office, Trucy? Sure thing, Daddy. Just be careful out there. In the meantime, I'm going to bake some cookies and fill up my magic panties for you. Trucy seems to be feeling a little better. I can always count on Athena to perk everybody up with her enthusiasm. Oh, she's back. Don't mind me. Just forgot a few things. Wallet, phone, the documents, bag.
Everything.
Sounds more like you forgot everything. I can always count on Athena for that, too. Alright, you two. Let's be careful out there. So our Clyde is one Solomon Starbuck. He's so famous, even I've heard of him. That's right, he's a super famous astronaut who works at the Cosmos Space Center. He was actually up in outer space 7 years ago. You seem to know quite a bit about him. Now I'm all excited to meet the man. Wow, that was the longest sigh I've ever heard. Apollo told me all about you. You're Phoenix Wright, Apollo's mentor, right? Yes, that's right. Mentor has a nice ring to it. Don't worry about a thing, Mr. Starbucks. Mr. Wright and I have got you covered. And you're the new kid that Apollo told me about. Wait, don't I know you from somewhere? Huh? You mean other than at your trial? I don't think so. I guess so. My mistake. My memory isn't what it used to be.
You did know a lot about him.
Yeah. My mind and body are kaput. Same goes for my life. I mean, I'm so astronomically unlucky that I had a bomb go off in the middle of my trial. Trying to defend me would be like trying to enter the stratosphere without a spacecraft. Yikes, he seriously got to stop depressing himself. Cheer up, Mr. Starbuck. Besides, that thing you said about entering the stratosphere, that just means we'd shine like shooting stars, right? Like shooting stars, huh? You know, you're right. Why didn't I think of that? After all, that's what we are all put on this earth to do, right? To shine like stars. I guess I shouldn't mention the fact that shooting stars burn out in a flash. Aw yeah, here we go. 3, 2, 1, to the stratosphere and beyond. Yeah, I feel alive now. You can go ahead and ask me anything you want. Is that really all it takes? So you have no memory at all of the incident. I'm so ashamed.
I'm just going to tell everybody in the Ace Attorney game has amnesia.
Yeah. My memory of the time is as black and clouded as a dark nebula. What is it, Lemire? She had big amnesia. Still, it's strange you don't remember a thing. Are you sure you didn't take one of those anti-anxiety pills like they said at the trial? You got it all wrong. I told him during the investigation, too. I don't know anything about any drugs. I never took any medication, I swear. It is true I developed a fear of space because of what happened 7 years ago. And I was taking medication secretly every now and then when my anxiety got bad. Having a fear of space is not something an astronaut can brag about, you know? Oh, the so-called Hat-1 miracle. That must have been a terrifying experience. But I'm still an astronaut at heart, come what may. I would never take any drugs that might impede my performance just before a launch. That launch meant everything to me. That's more certain than the theory of relativity. He seems like a completely different person now. This is the face of the astronaut I know. The tranquilizers were found in your system. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I don't know why. I'm done for. If you didn't take them, then somebody must have slipped them to you? Exactly, that's what I thought. It must have been the real culprit. My medication was in my locker. Anybody could have gotten their hands on it. Maybe the real culprit also planted the detonator switch in your pocket. Yeah, that's gotta be it. I've been framed. I'll say they even managed to plant your print on the switch before slipping it in. It's a real possibility. Do you remember anything else that might be relevant? Anything at all, no matter how small, like about the murder weapon, for example. That knife. I think it came from one of the Space Center's utility kits. Utility kits? Yeah, staff who work on the machinery a lot are given those special toolkits to use. All the technicians have them, so I doubt you could prove whose knife it is. As I recall, your last trip into space was 7 years ago, right? That's right. It was a pretty rough experience. During that mission, we had all kinds of problems with the craft. You did? What kind of problems? Power failure, oxygen leakage, busted radio, cracked windows, loose control column. The heat shield came off as we were entering the atmosphere. I thought I was a goner. But I managed to make it somehow with popsicles and ice packs from the freezer. No wonder they dubbed it the Hat One Miracle. It's a miracle you made him back. Space is a boundless place. That's why it continues to capture people's imaginations. But the vastness of space shows us how insignificant we are in the scheme of things. The darkness just goes on forever and ever and ever without end. There was nobody else there. Nobody was going to come save me. I was all alone. All alone with nothing to listen to but the sound of my own breathing and heartbeat. I kept scrambling to make repairs, but I couldn't keep my hands from shaking. An experience like that would make anybody afraid to go up into space. With the experience you had, weren't you dreading this mission? What? No way, of course not. Even now I want to go up into space so bad, I can barely stand it. I want to shake off the Earth's gravity at escape velocity and spin around weightless. But you have to admit it was pretty harrowing. Weren't you even a tiny bit afraid? I was afraid. Of course I was. Still am. But space is man's final frontier, an unknown world. The cosmic truth is out there waiting for us somewhere. The cosmic truth, huh? I guess there are people looking for the truth in every walk of life. No matter how afraid I am, I'm sure I can manage. If I give in to my fear, I'll never find the truth. As long as I don't give up, I can keep up the fight. One thing's for sure, Mr. Starbuck's passion for space is undeniably the real deal. The victim, Clay Terran, he was kind of like your protege, wasn't he? Well, it wasn't a big, exaggerated deal like Master and Apprentice or anything like that, but Clay did think of me as his mentor. The mentor and the protege. What a combination they must have been. With his encouragement, I knew I could get over my fear and go back into space. But now, Clay must have been very encouraging, huh? Yeah, it's funny, really. Whenever I'd hear him shout, "You're fine!" I always got the feeling everything really was gonna be fine. You're fine. Apollo says I'm fine, and you're fine all the time, too. And I always feel encouraged, too, whenever I hear him shout. Yeah, Clay and Apollo were best buds. They used to come visit the Space Center a lot, ever since they were high school kids. One day out of the blue, Clay even told me he wanted to be my protege. Those two hung around the Space Center so much they were like a part of the staff. One time during Zero-G training, I started to panic a little bit, and the two of them took turns shouting, "You're fine," over the radio. It was a simple thing, but it was exactly what I needed to hear. So I'm fine and you're fine were like Apollo and Clay's secret phrases, huh? I wish I could ask Apollo more about Clay and the relationship now. Speaking of Clay, how do you suppose he climbed down the ladder with you over his shoulder? Sorry, but I can't even begin to imagine. But he actually did climb down the ladder, so a way has to exist. From the freedom of space to the walls of a cell, but that prosecutor said the dark night sky isn't half bad through barred windows. You're fine. Solomon Soul Starbuck is fine. Everything's gonna be alright. Huh? And Athena Sykes is fine. Come on, Mr. Wright, you too. Do I really have to? Phoenix Wright is fine. I can't hear you! Phoenix Wright is fine. We'll get you back into space yet, Mr. Starbuck. Believe in your own innocence and have faith in us. Apollo believed in you wholeheartedly, and that's good enough for me. I believe in you too. Thank you. Thank you, both of you. I'll put my faith in you. And I vow to make it back into space. All I need first is a not guilty verdict. It sure feels nice to reassure ourselves every now and then that we're all fine. Okay, Mr. Wright. Let's get our investigation of the Space Center started pronto. Good idea, let's go. Alright. Space Center it is. Wow, I was wondering what kind of place the Space Center would be. It almost looks like an amusement park of the future. Yeah, did you know they even let the public see their rockets up close? Oh, so check it out. Look at how brightly the Giaxa? Maybe? The Giaxa logo shines in the sunlight above the entryway. I really dig the stars and rocket motif it's got going. Giaxa, huh? Is that the new name of the Federal Space R&D program? Yeah, but why the strange acronym? I mean, what is GIA supposed to stand for? Galaxy? If that were it, then the whole thing would be something like Galaxy Exploration Agency. Which, if you ask me, I'd have abbreviated to GAXA or even Gaia. I guess so. Oh, I know, maybe the person who came up with the name just really likes the letter Y. This exchange is beginning to feel oddly like deja vu. Anyway, this place is more than just a research facility, it's also a tourist attraction. Tourist attraction? Don't make me laugh. It's a monument to the human race. Galactic scooter, full speed ahead. On a scooter? Yeah, excuse this geezer, and what's he want? Look upon me and look well. Behold the great power of space science. Pardon me, but you are... My glorious name is Yuri Cosmos. I am the director of the Cosmos Space Center, the center of the cosmos. Boss, that was pretty growth-inducing. If this person is the Space Center's director, then that means... Aha, so you were one of the first to discover Clay's body, weren't you? That is correct. I was honored to be the very first man in all of space and time to discover the body. With this talk of the incident, are you by any chance the space police? You can't tack the word space onto just any old thing, you know. We're Mr. Starbuck's lawyers. We're here to investigate his case. Oh, and we're Earth lawyers, by the way. Ah, I see. Yes, I've heard about you. In that case, by my esteemed privilege, I grant you permission to investigate. I trust you are appropriately grateful. Now go ahead, have at it. I can already tell he's going to be nothing but trouble.
You don't really have a choice, right?
I mean, I guess not, yeah. I think that'd be really weird to say no. Don't let him hear you say that or you'll see what trouble really is. Let's just be professional and ask him about when he found the body, okay? Okay, so I can't even move yet, so I gotta talk to him. Let's go, yeah, let's find out about him first. So as director, what do you do here at the Space Center specifically? Defend peace across the galaxy and promote space development in this country. No matter what obstacles stand in our way, we keep going, for the sake of mankind. I believe I used the word specifically in my question. Attention all personnel, to your break stations, prepare for break. Oh, I get it. You just wander around and tell people what to do in a self-important manner. That is exactly right. Because I am an important man, my manner is important. Mr. Wright, this man doesn't get sarcasm. Well, there's bound to be some people like that here in the boundlessness of space. What's that? You want to know why it is? What it is that makes me important specifically? Very well, I will tell you. I was the central figure of the Hat 1 project. You may proceed to be appropriately impressed. Now go ahead, have at it. I might be more impressed if I knew what he did for it specifically. Could you tell us what you know about the incidents from the other day? I refuse. What? Explaining is a job for common folk, not the director of the center of the cosmos. My testimony, which will go down in space history, will be heard in the courtroom. What? So does that mean you'll be taking the stand tomorrow? That is correct. I will be the most glorious witness in the history of mankind. I'm not sure if he really understands what being a witness is all about. Looks like Director Cosmos is the type that only talks about what he wants to talk about. Well, let's at least try to ask him about the things he might be willing to open up about. The Hat One was a rocket that was launched into space 7 years ago, correct? And despite numerous problems, it somehow made its way back home? I suppose it is part of my job to educate ignorant young folk like you. Very well, I will impart to you the complete story of the Hat One project. Oh, thank you very much. Hat One's noble mission was to collect samples from an asteroid, and Mr. Starbuck was the pilot for that flight. Eventually, the Hat One reached its planned orbit. From where it launched, the Hope probe toward the asteroid belt. From there, the Hope probe began its long, lonely journey into the far reaches of space. Then, after a terrifying struggle, the Hat One returned safely to Earth. That struggle was when the incident known as the Hat One miracle occurred, right? Correct, and it truly was a miracle, of course. They just had to turn the ordeal into a movie. As for the Hope probe, it did eventually arrive safely at its destination. It obtained a few samples from the asteroid and returned to Earth a few days ago. So what kind of samples are they? What's in them? The samples are scheduled for analysis in the near future. We haven't had time since they just came back the day before Terran's murder. Regrettably, we've had no time to inspect the samples due to everything that has occurred. But this puts our space development program ahead of other countries by several years. That's quite impressive. I guess this guy isn't just a loud-mouthed braggart after all. In the golden age of space development, our predecessors were successful in bringing a moon rock back. That is the greatest achievement in the history of the Space Center. The public fell in love with space and all of its glorious potential. A moon rock, huh? I remember that being big. Our endeavors with the moon rock live on in our work with those asteroid samples. I want to bestow new hopes and dreams for the future upon mankind once again. That is my mission, as the man who stands at the center of the cosmos. I hear there's lots of research into moon rocks and stardust from asteroids these days. They say the results could potentially have a huge impact on all of civilization. It's like we're in a new space race with every other country out there. What? Bite your tongue, it's not for anything so base as money or politics. It's all for the brilliant future that awaits mankind, and all for my illustrious mission. With the recent budget cuts, my staff tells me finances are tight, but I won't hear it. I guess even a space program has to watch its budget. By the way, you seem awfully knowledgeable about this kind of thing, Athena. Huh? Oh, well, you know, I thought I'd better brush up for the case.
Did you use a space briefing table before?
I wouldn't be surprised. Is that so? Well, I will be on my way. As you can see, I am a very busy and very important man. Galactic Scooter. Fire up the main engine. Max battle speed. And engage.
Okay.
That thing is surprisingly fast. I guess we better get going, too. You bet. Let's make it so.
Horse?
Gigantic seahorse. So this is where Mr. Terran was murdered. Yeah, this is the lounge. Let's see the diagram the police made again. Right now we're in the main building here on the right side on the 3rd floor. Clay and Mr. Starbuck fled here from Launchpad 1 after the explosion. You there! No admittance without express permission. We're Mr. Starbuck's lawyers. We've come to investigate. Sorry, nobody gets in without permission, not even the police superintendent. Can't have Detective Fulbright getting mad at me. So Detective Fulbright is here, huh? Yeah, he's in the Launchpad 1 corridor. Go get clearance from him and then we'll talk. Leave it to me. I'm great at getting intel out of Detective Fulbright. Let's see, what trick should I use on him today? I don't know if I should be grateful or afraid. So to get to Launchpad 1 corridor, we just have to go through that door with the blue rocket on it, I think. Wait, that door. It It looks awfully familiar.
Isn't that the door they were coming from? Because there's the handpad.
Yep. G'day there, boss. This is the door Clay and Mr. Starbuck used during their escape from the launch pad. Ah, that explains it. The fingerprint system has been deactivated, so I think we can just pass through. Now, come on, let's go. Oh, really? So this is it, huh? This is the corridor the two of them used in their escape. Yep, this is the only thing connecting Launchpad 1 with the main building. I see police taped down at the other end. Guess we won't be looking at the launch pad. After the explosion, this whole corridor must have been filled with smoke. And the launch pad itself was probably a sea of flames. Must have been scary for them. Now, where could Detective Fulbright be? Hey, I think that's him over there. What should I do? Which path is the path of justice? He seems to be lost. That's funny. This corridor is a straight shot. Huh? Alright, you lawyer people, welcome to the Space Center. Enjoying a relaxing day off, are you? Here for a little rocket sightseeing? We're here to investigate the scene, same as you. Scene, same as you. Do you have any info to share? Boss, if he acts at all reluctant to give us information, we hit him with the old whatever shall we do act. I'm sure he'll fall for it. Got it? Are we trying to catch the unruly family dog here or something? Info on the case, huh? Alright, I'll gladly share some with you. Huh? Just happened. Detectives and lawyers seeking truth and justice side by side. I like it. Just take whatever you want from me, you info bandits. I'm in a generous mood today. I don't know. There's something weird about Detective Fulbright today. Well, we need information, so let's run with it. If you say so. Maybe. Detective Fulbright, could you give us permission to investigate the crime scene? There's an officer on guard, but we can't get in. Oh, whatever shall we do? That's an easy one. I'll let them know over there to let you in. Investigate to your heart's content. Take a week if you need it. A month even! Shall I have some snacks delivered? One of my men gives a mean neck rub. No, that's okay, but thanks. Definitely not the Fulbright I know. Detective Fulbright is acting sickeningly sweet. It's kind of gross, actually. Do you think he hit his head or something? Who knows? Whatever the case, it's making our lives way easier. You were here at the Space Center at the time of the incident, weren't you, Detective? That's right, I was here on a security assignment. The police are required to secure rocket launches now? I didn't know that. Yes, well, you know us, to serve and protect. Ha 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 ha. The explosions occurred while I was here on duty, so I started leading the evacuation. He's leaving out a lot of details, but okay.
Is that why Army was here too, maybe?
Maybe. Let me see.
He hasn't said anything about Candace Army, but he's saying that he's on duty, so maybe she was too.
Could you tell us more about what happened? Of course, a bomb went off on the second floor of the main building. Right after that, the one over in Launchpad 1 also blew sky high. So I immediately instructed the visitors and the employees to evacuate to the shelter. The shelter? That's right, there's an evacuation shelter in the basement of the Space Center. It's there for accidents and emergencies and the like. So where were you when the first bomb went off? I was on duty on the 4th floor. It was quite the madhouse, I tell you. The elevator wasn't working on account of the explosion. And the stairs on the 2nd floor were destroyed, so we couldn't go that way. Then wasn't it impossible to get down to the basement shelter? No, we lowered an emergency ladder from a 4th floor window and escaped that way. It was a folding ladder, so it wasn't very stable, but at least it reached the ground. After I secured the ladder, I left to take another look around for any survivors. Once everyone else got out safely, I made my way down too and headed to shelter. Wow, what an ordeal! But climbing down an emergency ladder sounds kind of fun. Thank you for your answers, Detective. You were very helpful. Just a moment, I have some more information to share with you. But don't tell Prosecutor Blackwell, okay?
What?
Wow, and Prosecutor Blackwell usually has you on a short leash, too. Maybe he is a robot. Well, never mind that. Ha-ha. I thought you should know that there was a witness.
I want to know about this witness.
Could you tell us more about this witness? Sure thing. The witness was a Space Center employee who was on the 4th floor. While she was climbing down, she looked through a window into the 3rd floor lounge. So she was looking into the crime scene from the outside. That's right. It was just a matter of chance that she saw something important. Not that I know what she saw exactly yet, though. You don't? But that's the most important thing of all. Ha ha ha, don't you worry. I'll get around to interviewing her soon enough. She should still be somewhere here in the Space Center. You might even run into her. 4th floor employee, huh? Alright, thanks for the info, Detective Fulbright. Gee, you sure are being cooperative, Detective. A little too cooperative, even. Yes, well, actually, Something you can't talk about? Yeah, something like that. Anyway, never mind. Don't worry about me. Well, I'll be on my way now. Huh. I don't get it.
I don't either.
What was that all about? Something is definitely going on. I'm going to get it out of him the next time I see him. Okay. I'm not sure he'll talk about it, though. But we have permission to investigate now. Let's head back to the boarding lounge. Ah, you two. Detective Fulbright has granted you permission to investigate. He also said I should bring you some snacks or give you a neck rub, too, if you'd like. Oh, that's all right, but thank you for the offer. Well, time to roll up our sleeves and start investigating. Now, let's see. Where's that diagram again? So this lounge is on the 3rd floor of the main building. According to Apollo, this is where he believes a third party killed his friend. Well, let's stop the recap and start looking for traces of this third person, then. You read my mind, Athena. We'll make that our first priority. There's just one problem, though. This room. It's just so big. Don't worry, we can use this to help us. A Space Center pamphlet for tourists? Yep, picked it up at the entrance. The maps inside should come in handy. Let's see. Yep, here it is, a map of the lounge. This is the door we went through to talk to Detective Fulbright. Oh yeah, that's the door with the fingerprint recognition lock. Well, I guess this map will make things a little easier. Yeah, no more excuses. Let's track down the third person. Wait, there's just one more thing. What's that strange creature moving around outside the window? Oh, boss, it's just a holographic image. Oh yeah, I knew that. Phew, what a relief. There should be a button somewhere in this room to turn the image on and off. That's what it says in the pamphlet, anyway. The only reason you're so eager to start is so that you can push that button, isn't it? And what's wrong with that? Let's just look for the button while we're looking for clues. Alright, fine, let's get investigating. So this is where they discovered Clay. Yeah, he was already dead when they found him. Let's take a look at the photo. So he was stretched out like this, and huh? What's that thing that looks like a thermos? That's the thing that Prosecutor Blackwell mentioned when I was informed with Apollo. He said that it contains asteroid samples. Oh right, Director Cosmos mentioned something about that too, didn't he? That they were brought back only 5 days ago by the probe that the HAT-1 launched. I wonder what they look like. Do you think they'll let us see? Let's think about that after we've solved the case, okay? Here's another amazing piece of equipment. Walk on the surface of the moon, it says. Oh boy, I want to try it. Gravity is weak on the moon, so I bet I could do mid-air somersaults. We're still on Earth, remember? Besides, it's connected to the ceiling. Well, at least I could jump really high. There's a sign on the wall that very clearly says don't jump too high. Then what good is this thing? Didn't I say in the beginning walk on the surface of the moon? Oh. Hey, I see something shiny down there. Let's take the cover off, then. Yeah, what the heck? What's this? It looks like a metal jelly bean. It's really small, but it's a bullet. It's only about 2 or 3 millimeters in diameter. Let's see, that would make the caliber... Now, how do you... Is it like... .10? Is that how you say it? Because I don't know.
It looks like it says .10 there.
No, it does, but is that how you would say it?
No, because like .10 or like 10 millimeter isn't common. It's like a European thing, I think.
Okay.
And like they have to weigh those and measure them, and it's by weight. Like I don't. It's different. It's hard to explain.
Okay.
But it's more like by weight.
Okay.
It's not the case. It's the thing that comes out of your shell.
But would I call it a 10 millimeter? Like, how would you call that?
Sure, let's call it.
Okay. Caliber refers to the diameter of the gun's barrel, right? Yes, but I've never heard of a 10 caliber gun before. This bullet must be for a special kind of gun.
And that is true.
Yeah. I bet if you tried firing a bullet this small with a regular sized gun, it would just fall right out. Yeah, it must have been a really small gun. I wonder how the bullet ended up here.
It also looks like it hit something.
I mean, we're in the bottom left, so the south door side of the room, according to the map. That's pretty far from where Clay's body was. Maybe the police didn't think to look here? Yeah, leave it to Detective Fulbright to accidentally hand us just the card we need. So this is the fingerprint recognition device. I guess you put your hand on this hand mark. Why guess when you can try? Now to line my hand up with the outline? Don't, Athena, this thing is related to the case. Get your prints all over that, and the next thing you know, you'll be named as a suspect. How could you be so cruel to a little girl like me? I'm not buying those tears, Missy. I wonder what this big knob is for. It looks like the knob on a stove. Well, it's the same shape, but I think that's where the similarities end. I mean, it's behind a glass pane. What kind of stove would require knob security like this? Well, the knob is straight up and down, so if it was for a stove, the burner would be on. Right, if it was for a stove. Still, I wonder what it's really for. Something turned on by a knob that's not a stove. How about a rocket engine? If you had to start the engine here, the rocket would take off before you could get in.
And use the override from the door?
Could be. But I guess all we can say for now is that it's a mystery knob. Let's see, this door is... Where's that pamphlet? Here we are. It's the door to the corridor that leads to Launchpad 1. We went through it earlier, and we went to talk to Detective Fulbright. So I guess the security lock must be disengaged now, right? They say the corridor was filled with smoke at the time of the bombing. This thing beside the door, that must be their fingerprint recognition device. Which reminds me, I think Prosecutor Blackwell talked about it at the trial. Notion of a third party is absurd. Just to enter the area, one must pass through a door guarded by a fingerprint. To stay up front, there are precious few with the clearance to do so. And does this mean that the bomber's prints were verified by the system? The number of authorized personnel was supposed to be really small. Voila! Fingerprint powder! I bought it just in case something like this came up. I found it at the office. I've just been itching for a chance to use it. Wow, way to think ahead. Now, let's dust the fingerprint recognition device and see what we can find. You got it. Now to sprinkle some here and a little over there, and poof! Let's see what we have here. Ooh, we got something! Aw, it's only a single set of prints. Isn't that a good thing? Sure wish we could figure out whose prints these are. Although I doubt we'll be so lucky as to get the culprit's prints on the first try. Well, I'm willing to bet Detective Fulbright has some fingerprint data. Right, and there's the security footage of the store, too. Yeah, here it is. It came up in court the other day. I just wish we could see the part of the footage just after this bit.
Oh, look, it's sideways.
Oh!
So it is like the door override, or like it toggles with the door.
Good eye! Man. Oh, because that would be right before the murder, wouldn't it? Let's ask the detective. With the mood he's in, he'll probably show it to us right away. Yeah, he's in almost too good of a mood today. Let's go see if we can find him again once we're done with this room. That's some pretty futuristic-looking furniture over there. According to the pamphlet, these are no ordinary chairs. They're like amusement park teacup rides. You can power them yourself, it says. If you spin the table, your chair spins too. Why would anybody want to have something like that here? It's for astronauts who have trouble with the device on the ceiling. No vertical spins. It says it's a training device that's easy on the eyes and on the body. Can a person really call themselves an astronaut if they can't handle zero-G? These are apparently oxygen capsules. They're for recovery after a training session. I wonder if they can change your voice. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Hi, it didn't do a thing.
Somebody's still in?
It's not helium, Athena, it's oxygen. No, just one's open, the other's not. So it looks like there are 3 doors that lead in and out of this room. Well, let's check. Drum roll, please. Ta-da! The Space Center pamphlet. We're here at this place that says Boarding Lounge 1. Here are the 3 doors. Let's call them lefty, righty, and down. People usually say west, east, and south in a case like this, you know. Details, details. Anyway, take a look at the west door. That door with the rocket icon leads to Launchpad 1. I know, because it says here on the map, Launchpad 1 corridor. So that's where we were with the detective. It was filled with smoke after the explosion. Right, next up, the right-hand side of the map, or east in your world. That's the door with the satellite dish icon to signify communication, aka the control room. Yep, it definitely says control room. Looks like it has another door on the opposite side. They communicate and exchange information with rockets and probes in space from here. So it's the center of the Space Center. The Space Center center, if you will. I like that. Does everybody start to talk like Director Cosmos after they've been here a while? But it seems like they built a new command center on the 6th floor. That's what they used for that Hat 2 mission, so this control room was empty at the time. I've always wanted to see the inside of a mission control room, and since we're here, I'd love to do that too, but it doesn't look like we'll be able to. They want to keep curious kids like you out. So the door is protected with fingerprint recognition. Only the director can go through. With that much security, I'm definitely not the one they're looking to keep out, Athena. So apparently the lock is also hooked up to a backup generator in case of emergencies. Okay, what about that last door? This lower door. Oh, excuse me, I mean south door? It leads to the elevators. This is the door we came through when we entered this room, right? Yep, and of course, there was no fingerprint recognition device, so it's open to anyone. But the elevators weren't working at the time due to the explosion. Well, that's about it for the 3 musketeers of the boarding lounge. Thanks, understanding the layout of the lounge should help us understand the case. That's why I thought we'd better have a good grasp of where all the doors go. Okay. Or maybe that's just for the doors. I mean, there's still something I gotta look at. We never looked at this. At first glance, it looks like a peaceful landscape, but then there's that creature. Didn't the Hope probe go to some planet? Maybe this is what its surface looked like. I don't know, I think it would have made the news if they discovered a creature like that.
Some space sequence.
Yeah. It did make quite a bit of news, though, when the probe came back. Yeah, but the Hope probe didn't even go to a planet. It went to an asteroid. That's a big rock kind of thing. Even aliens can't live there. Let's see. No matter how I look at it, all I can think of is torture device. Yeah.
Vomit.
I just noticed the seat on it. But I guess it's a training device for getting used to zero gravity. Uh-oh, Athena has an odd glint in her eye. Is she thinking about trying that thing out? I should try to stop her, but I'm afraid she'll just outmuscle me. Hey, Mr. Wright, look at that up there. Some kind of fragment? It's stuck in tight. Oh, so that's what the glint is all about. That color looks familiar. I think it's part of an oxygen tank. I think you're right, but if that's there, it means Clay's tank ruptured after they arrived at the boarding lounge. So Prosecutor Blackwell's theory that Mr. Starbuck dropped Clay down the ladder must be wrong. This proves that both of the astronauts were alive when they reached the boarding lounge. So Apollo was right. The scene of the murder wasn't the launch pad. Hee hee, way to go, Apollo. Okay.
Oh, I see that thing.
Yeah. She had a glint. We thought she was going to say something silly. A window, and it's right next to the holographic image, too. I bet it's here to help people see the stark contrast between reality and virtual reality. Way off, it says emergency ventilation. You know, to clear smoke from a fire. See, it's pointing out the virtual insanity of reality. Oh, a mirror. How thoughtful of them to put them here. Thoughtful. So the ladies can fix their makeup. One's appearance is just as important in space as it is on Earth. You never know when you're going to run into some other life form after all. I doubt anybody who thinks like that would ever become an astronaut in the first place. Oh, there's still stuff we're missing? Ah. It looks like trash. What's this trapdoor? It's a trash chute. The cleaning robots throw the garbage out from here. The robots do the cleaning. What a futuristic world we live in. I just hope they don't revolt like they do in science fiction movies. No way, all the robots here are very nice. Actually, wasn't there one in the Launchpad 1 corridor? We can go say hi to it if you want. So we got that. There we go. This must be the security camera that recorded the astronauts making their escape. Oh, let's commemorate this occasion with a love and peace. If you're done now, shall we move on? Yeah, okay, but just one more for the road. Peace. Very mature. Is that a spiderweb or a crack? A bright purple sky, plenty of greenery, and a tranquil lake. The idyllic scene stretches on as far as the eye can see. That's what I'm wondering, yeah. It's beautiful, but it lacks something to make it truly captivating. Oh, well.
Okay.
No.
Leave the spider.
There's some kind of panel with 2 buttons on it here. Just push it, that's the invariable principle of buttons. There are such things as buttons left unpushed. Hey! That's it. The giant holographic image disappeared. Yeah, though that side of the wall seems kind of barren without it now. Still, let's see if we can't find anything new with the image off. Oh, maybe this is where we can see a crack. Yep. Hey, Mr. Wright, take a look at this. It looks like a bullet hole. Great find, Athena. It's pretty big. Whoever fired the shot must have been using a pretty large gun. You think so? Based on my experience, I'd say it was fired from a regular pistol. Well, whatever size it was, somebody fired a gun in here, right? Apparently. This is an important fact. Do you see a bullet around here somewhere? No, the police might have taken it, though. We have the bullet! Let's ask Detective Fulbright about this bullet hole later. What the heck?
Weird.
Yeah. Welcome to the Space Center, guests. Welcome. Yikes, what in the world? My name is Ponko. P-O-N-C-O. Ponko. Are you sightseeing? Are you lost? Are you looking around? Choose one, I will guide you. It's a robot. I am not a robot, I am Ponko. Is she the witness? Is she the witness?
I hope not. It's like the 4th floor. I think that was 5 years.
Okay. Psychological observation and navigation companion. P-O-N-C-O. Ponko. Well, I'm glad we got that cleared up. Oh, Ponko, I've missed you. Do you know this thing, Athena?
Oh, it's the thing.
She showed us around the last time when I came here with Apollo. Oh, you're such a good girl, Ponko. That's a good girl. Oh, thank you, thank you. I'm so happy, so very happy. Wow, a guide robot. That's pretty cool. My name is Phoenix Wright. Nice to meet you. I don't know you. I don't know you. Huh? Ouch, that hurt. Oh, she has to register people she meets for the first time. Please register him, Ponko. Certainly. Commencing guest registration. Please tell me your name. A nickname is fine, too. His name is Phoenix. A bit overly familiar, but I'll allow it. Phoenix, please let me get a good look at your face. Oh, sure. Registering. Facial registration sequence complete. We are now officially friends. Nice to meet you, Phoenix.
We're only that simple.
If only. Hey, you know, if they could make a robot like this, I'd befriend it. This robot is pretty cute. You made a friend, boss. Isn't it great? Phoenix, Athena, allow me to guide you. Right this way. Oh, goody. Let's go, boss. Go where?
Alright, I think we're in a good spot.
Alright, I think so too. I will save.
I might
Well, I'm definitely gonna take a shower. But
I need to do some reading,
well, we got a good hour. So now, next time we'll probably finish the investigation and see where all this leads.
this is a good hour.
Yeah, a good hour, and I look forward to seeing what Cosmos's testimony is all about. Very much so, you know.
Yep.
All right. Well, until next time, can't wait to spend some time with Punko.
I want to find out what this relationship is with Athena Sykes and the Space Center, but she still has an underlying relationship with Black Quill that we don't know.
Yeah.
And it's bad, so... And we also need to find out why am I blanking on a thing? Justice's eye was even patched before this explosion.
Yeah, that's something like he put on the cape and he became kind of a stiff. But something's up with his eye and we don't really know.
Something's up with him in general, but I don't. No, and like the client recognized Athena. Kind of.
Yeah. So, a lot of stuff that's curious here. Yeah, because he said, oh, where have I seen you before? But it's like he didn't even realize it was the trial. So,
Mhm.
all right. Well,